Tim Walz admits Democrats failed to deliver for voters when it counted. I mean, of course they failed. Ultimately, they failed because they had the White House for 4 years under Joe Biden, and every single policy he did, he claimed the policies would have helped the American people, but every policy he put out there actually hurt the American people, and we lived with it for 4 years. We lived with the Biden economy for 4 years, and people suffered. A lot of people suffered under it. So of course they wanted to give Republicans a chance. They wanted to give Donald Trump another chance, because under Trump, during the pandemic, the economy was awesome. It was amazing. It was booming. Unemployment was the lowest it has ever been. All types of great things, and they know that. I mean, we can literally look at the two economies and see which one was better, and they know that. So, but the thing is, instead of coming up with a new way to fix things, come up with a different way, a different talking points, or going after what the people actually want, the Democrats are continuing to double down on that stuff that got them booted out of the White House in the first place. So we're gonna play the clip from Tim Walz, see what he has to say about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Caller, and they report that Democrat Minnesota Governor Tim Walz admitted Sunday on CNN that when his party held power, they failed to pass legislation that could improve voters' lives. But wasn't that what the Build Back Better was supposed to do, right? Build Back Better was supposed to improve people's lives. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act? That was supposed to improve people's lives, but it did the exact opposite. But Democrats have struggled to understand how their party lost to President Donald Trump in November, with some blaming poor messaging and party voters pointing to progressive policies. On State of the Union, host Jake Tapper, and asked Walz what he believes the party issue with voters is, questioning whether Americans were simply rejecting what you were selling, particularly on immigration. Great question. That he posed here. But let's play the clip. Here we go.
Red districts across the country, you're saying Democrats need to do a better job of reaching Trump voters. I want to play something you said at an event in Texas last month.
We let them define the issue on immigration. We let them define the issue on DEI, and we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them.
I mean,
before he gets to it, Democrats are just cursing. They're using all types of curse words. You're damn right. All types of F-bombs and an S word, all types of curse words. So I would love to see that email that the Democrats sent out and was like, yeah, use more profanity, curse more when you talk. That will help you resonate with the American public. I would love to see that email, because I bet you that was something that was one of the main things that they put out there, because you see every single Democrat doing it. It's crazy.
And we let them define what woke is. We got ourselves in this mess because we weren't bold enough to stand up and say, you damn right we're proud of these policies. We're going to put them in, and we're going to execute them.
I mean, the issues you identified there were immigration, DEI, and woke. You think Democrats' problem was that you just didn't do a good enough job explaining the policies, and not that voters simply didn't just reject what you were selling, particularly on immigration, I wonder?
No, on immigration, what we were asking for is a bipartisan policy that strengthens immigration control.
That so-called bipartisan policy that y'all put forth was actually allowing illegal immigrants to come into this country. It was not preventing them from coming into this country, which is something Donald Trump has been doing. Just outright lies.
Recognizes that we need a workforce here, that they should be allowed here legally, and that when they get here, they're part of the American fabric. And that is the bipartisan bill we had. Donald Trump snatching up.
No one has a right to be a citizen to be an American citizen. No one has a right to come into this country illegally and claim citizenship.
Up college grad students and sending them back, or sending folks to El Salvador illegally. That's not the policy. But for us to them to say, we don't care that violent criminals come in, we most certainly do. What we were asking for is the resources to make sure they don't get here. And the same thing with the other policies. It's not a woke policy to provide food for children to get breakfast. And
hold on. Trump is doing it without legislation. The borders has some of the border crossings is some of the lowest ever on record right now. So this is all bullcrap. Biden had a chance to do what Trump is doing right now, but he refused to do it because they had an open border policy. That's why he's being disingenuous here.
To say we don't care that violent criminals come in, we most certainly do. What we were asking for is the resources to make.
No, you don't. That's why you want them to come back from El Salvador. That's why you want Trump to bring them back, these violent criminals that he kicked out of our country. You want them to come back here. That's why you're fighting so hard to bring them back with that nutty leftist judge. What's his name? Boasberg.
Make sure they don't get here. And the same thing with the other policies. It's not a woke policy to provide food for children to get breakfast and lunch, and we get better outcomes from that. They defined things on their terms that weren't true. And what I'm saying is, are we going to turn away from being a country of legal immigration? Are we going to turn away from a country that thinks diversity and making sure that we
have always been a country of legal immigration. That's the point. That what was happening was not legal. These are illegals.
Don't have gaps in income between blacks and whites. Those are policies that have strengthened America. And I think what we allowed ourselves to do is we got timid. And then when we got power, we didn't pass things that improved people's lives.
I agree with him on that.
The Democratic Party.
I agree with him on that. They pass absolutely nothing that will help Americans' lives. So what makes you think y'all will be able to? We will vote for y'all and y'all will come in and do it this time? Why would we believe that? Oh my gosh, man. Fool me once, right?
Gets theoretical, talk about food insecurity. People are hungry, get them food. People don't have a house. Make sure they have a living wage. That's the point that I'm saying is, Fox News will glorify, he's for DEI. Not your definition of DEI. My definition is rule of law that's fair, that everybody gets an opportunity. And that's...
Everyone gets an opportunity. That's equality, not equity. You want equity. Everyone does have the same opportunity. I don't understand what he's talking about here. Everyone has that opportunity. So why do we need DEI? We don't need DEI. Everyone has the same opportunity, but we need to rely on merit to get the best people in charge, the best people in these positions. Not because they check off a box, not because they check off a box, not because of their sexual orientation, not because of their gender, not because of the color of their skin, but the content of their character, like Martin Luther King says, on their merit, not because you're checking off a box. We don't need DEI.
That's the point I think we have to make. Now, look, I'll be first to tell you, Jake, I'm out here doing what I can do. I don't know if I'm the best spokesperson to do it after just losing an election. But what I know is the public, and you saw it across the country this weekend, they're rising up and asking their leadership to do something.
So
people are the people aren't rising up. This is a color revolution that's happening right now, funded by George Soros and other NGOs to try to stop Trump. The Trump train, the Trump movement. That's what's going on. This is not some grassroots movement of people protesting. We've seen the geofencing. These are the same people that go to the same every single protest. These people are paid to do this. This is not some organic thing.
We heard your former running mate Kamala Harris say she's not here to say I told you so, although obviously that's what she was saying about all.
Told us what? We're getting what we voted for. We voted for this. So, as Trump follows through on his campaign vow to shut down the southern border and conduct mass deportations of illegal migrants, a March Fox News poll found that 63% of Americans support deporting illegal immigrants. And Walz went on to state that his party issue was allowing the GOP to define their policies on topics like providing food to children, illegal immigration. They always bring up the children and stuff in this. They could care less about the children. But in a poll released March 16th, CNN SSRS found the Democrat Party's favorability has dropped to just 29% among voters. I saw some polls as low as 21, but a 20-point decline since January 2021. While most the criticism came from within, only 63% of Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents now approve of the party, down 9 points since January and 18 points since the start of the Biden-Harris administration. They lost the Democrats because of the Biden-Harris administration. But the poll also found that 52% of Democratic-aligned adults believe the party's current leadership is taking it in the wrong direction, while over 30% of respondents couldn't name a Democrat they felt best reflects the core values of the party. Because they done shifted so far left that they're hemorrhaging people. They're hemorrhaging voters because of this. So let them keep going left. If they're not going to change, again, I say it time and time again, I'm all for it. Let them not change, and people, and they're going to lose more and more people. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.